From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reported tonight.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Katsina visited with frightening terror attacks. Over 60 villagers in Kaskari community killed. Military on high alert to intensify area and land attacks on Boko Haram hideouts in the northeast. House of Representatives vows to deal with anyone behind the alleged diversion of funds meant for troops in the northeast. And tension mounts around Ukraine-Russia border. Over 8,000 Russian troops begin open military exercise inside Ukrainian base.
And on Business News tonight, keynote speakers at the 10th annual lecture of Women in Management and Business, WIMBIS, advocate women's involvement in global affairs.
And on sports news tonight, German court sentences president of European champions Bayern Munich, Uli Hoeneß, to 42 months in jail for tax evasion.
From Abuja, 4 days to the opening of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group in Abuja. Experts continue agenda setting.
We begin tonight with the frightening dimension which the terror attacks are assuming in the north. While Adamawa, Yobe and Borno are already burning, reports today say Katsina State has also been hit. Over 60 people have been killed in a fresh attack in Faskari community in the state. Eyewitnesses say the attackers, said to be Fulani cattle herdsmen, rode on motorcycles into the villages in broad daylight and killed whoever they found. Although the police say the attack is not linked to the Boko Haram group, which is mainly active in the northeast, the victims include women and children. Now, these attacks coincide with the visit of President Goodluck Jonathan to Katsina State to commission government projects. Meanwhile, the Joint Security Committee has again given the assurance that the onslaught against terrorists in Nigeria's northeast will be sustained through intensified air raids and land bombardment until they are wiped out. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the spokesperson of the committee and Director, Defense Information, Major General Chris Olukolade, says the claim of low morale among the troops engaged in the fight is unfounded.
This committee has also noticed with great concern the orchestrated attack on the morale of the Nigerian security forces who are engaged in the fight against terrorism, coming from a section of the political elite. These ones are noted to have made frivolous and unfounded claims and allegations regarding the welfare and the condition of troops who are involved in managing this situation, making reference constantly with a view to talking about a situation they don't know about. They make frivolous and unfounded claims and allegations on the welfare of soldiers under the pretext of being more caring for the welfare of the conditions of the Nigerian troops. But we know that their intention is meant to encourage indiscipline and ultimately promote tendency towards mutiny. This set of Nigerians have taken up every available media platform to disparage the efforts of the leadership of the Nigerian Armed Forces in the fight against terror. Indeed, the tendency is propelled by nothing altruistic in any form, other than a will to curry undue political capital out of the unfortunate crisis in the northeast part of the country. These individuals have not only accused the military and security authorities of denying the soldiers and the security personnel of their entitlements, they have been spreading rumor as to the disposition of the troops that are managing the situation, claiming that there is grumbling and inadequate resources and lack of motivation on the part of the troops. These unfounded allegations and outright rumor mongering are, to say the least, callous, mischievous, and inimical to the ongoing efforts as well as the well-being and our national security. This forum wishes to reassure the Nigerian people that the military and security agencies will not be deterred from the commitment to defend and protect our country from any form of insecurity or aggression. The security forces will continue to put in their best, and in no distant future, the dividends of these efforts will be incontrovertible. There will be no respite for terrorists, and the patrols will be sustained in an aggressive form, and every progress we make will be made available to the Nigerian citizen. We want to appeal to you to help us to douse tension and the fear that terrorists are wont to create. Most of these fears are circulated through rumor. I want to appeal to the media not to be part of this rumor mongering.
In the meantime, the House of Representatives says it's set to confront anyone responsible for not dispersing funds meant for troops in the troubled northeastern part of the country. The Speaker, Aminu Tambawal, made this comment while meeting with the delegation of the Alumni of Unity Schools Old Students Association in the National Assembly. Mr. Tambawal promised that the House will continue to support the executive in the effort to bring the crisis in that part of the country to an end.
We cannot commandeer troops. We can only pass resolutions. We can only appropriate funds. We can, of course, oversight the implementation. But we have our limitations in following the money, in following appropriated funds. And that's why I said in my speech that we may have to find, even as parliamentarians, new ways of improved oversight so that we can ensure that what is meant for the welfare of our soldiers who have given in their life, they have surrendered their life, they have committed their life to this country, should be improved. A situation whereby we appropriate funds for our men to be well taken care of, to be well kitted, and for them to have the best of arms. And then somebody somewhere is playing politics or is not implementing that appropriation. It's not applying those funds judiciously. It's unacceptable. And we are ready to take on whoever is involved in that. Very soon, by the time we come back, we are going to have some motions that are talking about welfare of our men on the field, because we have received several complaints from soldiers that they are not getting what is due to them.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambawal. Now, staying with the situation in the northeast, the governor of Bauchi State has asked world leaders to join Nigeria in fishing out the sponsors of the Boko Haram activities. Alhaji Isa Yugoda told the BBC today that the operations of the sect, apart from being ferocious, has assumed a level that could only be made possible by good financial backing. He described Boko Haram as an international issue that should no longer be seen as a national affair. More than 57,000 residents have abandoned their homes in the northeast state and are now scattered across neighboring countries. Now, the recent killing of 5 people in a community in Guma local government area of Benue State, north-central Nigeria, has led to 2 neighboring states trading blame on the origin of the attacks. Now, while the Benue State governor says those responsible are not just herdsmen but terrorists who infiltrate the state from Nasarawa State, his Nasarawa State counterpart denies the claim, saying the assailants originate from Benue State. Our big story tonight examines the aftermath of the violence in the area.
Indomie instant noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
This community woke up to a bad day as suspected Fulani herdsmen invaded their village in Guma local government area of Benue State, killing 5 persons in the process.
Morning around 6 o'clock in the morning, we are standing here. We saw militia coming this side and this side, so they decided to pursue us.
Some of the displaced persons say the attackers came in large numbers and were carrying different weapons.
When we came here initially, the chairman of the local government arranged a camp for us in the LGA primary school here. We stayed there for some time, and the different herdsmen they were intended to come and attack us in the Bajimba, so we just ran away. The camp right now it is disorganized.
Where we met with them, the population of them overpower us because the population they are. Some of them have cutlass, and most of them that have cutlass, they're almost to 500, and those ones that have gun is the same.
Governor Gabriel Susam was at the village to see the carnage. He also met with some of the villagers. Speaking later, he said the men even attacked his convoy and they could not be ordinary herdsmen.
The manner and the method of attack is beyond ordinary Fulani men. These are well-trained people. You see how they have burned houses, how they have destroyed properties, and how they have displaced people. And the manner that they butchered the people, the 6 people that you saw on ground, and how they were bold enough to attack my convoy. And so these are not just people who are pasturing. These are people who are actually terrorists, who are determined that they will destabilize not just Benue State, but the country. It's the same modus operandi that are using in places like Yoba and Maiduguri that are trying to use here.
If we had gone with a view to attack, then we can say we'll confront them. So that was the position. And of course, when fire was open, we repelled it and then tactically withdrew.
Another threatening dimension to the crisis is the alleged use of chemical weapons by the herdsmen. Accordingly, the Benue State government has ordered an autopsy on the corpses recovered from the villages that were invaded by the herdsmen.
Most of the people who were not shot, but they shot something like was chemical. As they died, they were foaming and blood was gushing out from their noses. That is a clear indication that some kind of chemicals were being used. I want to confirm, I've asked that we'll see the dead bodies of those people, and then we'll ask some experts to come and see. And if that is the case, then it means that we're in for a big problem.
One of the survivors speaks of the suffocating effect of the alleged chemical weapons.
We discovered that when our people run away, they will go and die. They will fall down and die.
On the borderline security arrangement with Nasarawa State, Mr. Suswam says Nasarawa remains a transit route for the attackers, but his Nasarawa State counterpart says both states have a common problem with the Fulani herdsmen who remain a challenge to the region.
And these are people who are between Nasarawa and Benue State. So where are they passing? Where are they passing with the weapons? And why won't the government of Nasarawa State intercept that? Because that is the only way route out and in. And so I'm very worried about that.
There's no month that passes without our state having problems between farmers and herdsmen. This has caused so much distress to the people of Nasarawa State. We have to seek the cooperation of security operatives and even traditional rulers that have their domain along the borders. There needs to be a deliberate federal government policy, an intervention, special intervention that will reinforce security operatives along the borders of both Benue and Nasarawa states.
The continued crisis between the tea farmers and Fulani herdsmen, which has claimed so many lives, continues to be a cause for concern. This one issue the government must tackle promptly. For the big story, Nel Taigbe, Channels Television News.
Indomie instant noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
In part 2, after the break, The Shevening Alumni Association celebrates 30 years of leadership training in Nigeria. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.